on wherever we're in the order, which is local government elections, pensions. Matt, would you please call the roll?
Senators Black.
Here.
Henderson. Here. Beck. Bratton. Berger. Crawford. Here. Nicola. Here. Nuremberg. Here.
We do have a quorum. We are going to listen to Senate Bill 810, testimony first, and then go into our executive session. Does any member have any question before we begin that then? Thank you. Senator Carter, please begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are you planning on executing Senate Bill 810 today?
No.
I thought I'd shoot for that.
Finally got to say no to somebody after having all 10 grandkids this weekend. Go ahead, Senator Carter.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Senate Bill 810 clarifies that only language, the only name on a check drawn from the county shall be that of the county treasurer. This clarification reinforces the integrity and accountability of the county's financial operations. The county treasurer is bonded at the highest amount of any county official precisely because of their responsibility in issuing checks. By ensuring that only the treasurer's name appears on these instruments, Senate Bill 810 maintains a clear line of financial accountability and safeguards the checks and balances our system depends on. This is not a new practice, but a necessary clarification to prevent ambiguity and reinforce good governance. It supports transparency, strengthens fiscal controls, and upholds the public's trust. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions of Senator Carter? Senator Carter, I have one. What motivated us to need to make this change in statute?
So there was some clarification that was needing. There were some situations with county commissioners that were seeking to write checks without the treasurer's signature herself. And so this is just to clarify that language. When weighing in, we had some lawyers that looked into the statute and they said that they interpreted the language to mean that the treasurer needed to sign the checks, but there needed to be probably some clarity in the statute. So this is seeking to do that.
Well, that's good. Any other questions? Do we have any witnesses to testify in favor? Please come forward. Please state your name, and witness form can be left up here by Senator Carter if you choose. And begin when you're ready. Speak into the mic, please.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the committee, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to speak on behalf of Senate Bill 810. My name is Rick Reno. I have served as the county treasurer for Benton County for 22 years, and I'm also accompanied today by fellow treasurers from Pettis and Newton County that are also here in support of the bill. We believe this is an important bill that addresses an issue that we have dealt with for several years in the past about the integrity and security of the county checking accounts. It provides protection for the county treasurers, both through liability and financial protection, by the fact that we are the single person that is bonded in covering the county checking accounts, and we feel that's an important fact. And we also believe that this bill provides protection to the county itself and individual county office holders that are there that might mistakenly be on this account that would be held liable without the protection that we share with the bond should something be deemed illegal or misappropriated out of the county treasurer, where there would need to be restitution paid. And I would honor any questions that you have at this time.
Any questions of this witness? Senator Crawford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've got you right where I want you now, Rick. Rick just happens to be one of my treasurers. So I've worked with the treasurers a lot in the past, and so I'm not necessarily opposed to this bill because in reality, I don't think the banks recognize any of the other signatures anyway. Is that correct?
Yes, as in my county and many counties, on the checks, this does not restrict the right or availability of the other office holders per the commissioners and the clerk to sign the checks. But what it does is restrict the release of funds from the checking account unless the treasurer's signature is on that check that matches the card that the bank holds for authorized signatures. On the checks, when we have the three signatures on there, those generally designate the clerk acknowledges, her signature acknowledges that the check has been prepared for the right amount for the bill or the goods that has been provided. The commissioner's signature testifies to the fact that the county has received those goods or services, and then the treasurer's signature provides the fact that the funds are available and are lawfully available to be spent on that bill that was provided to the county.
So I'm just wondering, and I'm thinking about, I mean, obviously, we worked on the opposite situation on your bill for years to get it passed to where, you know, just to do away with the conflict the other way. My only concern with this is, is it a good thing to have that other set of eyes on this, or is there some other way that the commissioners would know, or could you get them the information on what checks you've written, more for informational purposes only than signing off on the check? Like, for instance, if they authorized a bill, and let's just say, for instance, the check was written for the wrong amount, they might catch that, you know, if they looked at that, if they've already looked at the bill. Is there anything out there? I mean, do you currently give them the information after you write the checks, or would there be something that they could have, some kind of register or whatever, just so they could look through that to make sure that indeed is what they intended to? And I'm not against your bill. I want to put that out there, but I'm just wondering, do we need that extra set of eyes looking at that to say, yeah, we did want that? Or can you talk to that a little bit?
I believe it is general practice for most counties that the bills are presented to the commissioners weekly, and then those have to be approved individually by the commissioners, so they see the bills and the amounts that are there, and then the clerk will prepare those checks once they are approved by the commissioners, and then resubmit them to the commissioners for their signature. So they have the check in front of them, and they would have the availability if they wanted to pull that bill back up to compare that. So they would see that prior to them signing that. And then, as by law, the treasurer and the county clerk also must reconcile books monthly that would give a comparison to the clerk's records versus the treasurer's records as to the amount of those checks and how those came out, and those would have to be reconciled. So I don't know that would necessarily go in front of the eyes of the commissioners, but that reconciliation is done between the two offices of the county clerk and the county treasurer, which is the safety net that you have to see
Right.
that both of us see each other's work that we've done to make sure that they reconcile with each
I
other.
guess I'm just
monthly.
thinking just the opposite of what we fixed with the treasurer's bill is, could this create something like that? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think the main concern for the treasurers are that there are counties that have on their signature card commissioners or perhaps the clerk's name. To give some small examples was, in the past, I know we've had chances where there was newly elected commissioners that didn't perhaps fully understand the budgeting and approval procedures that are taking to expend money through the county. And I know once there was a commissioner that just went by the bank and got a counter check and then went and bought a pickup or a dump truck for $75,000 that had not been approved through the budget through the other ones, was by no knowledge of the treasurer that they'd done that. He had no knowledge if there were funds available to do that or not, just simply expanded that money. Should something have come back on that, where that was an illegal expenditure,
It's coming back on you
it comes back
and
on the treasurer.
on your bond.
Right, even though we
Right.
had no knowledge and on our bond on
Right.
that. So this would, like I said, it doesn't restrict them from seeing the bills. It doesn't restrict their signature on the check that acknowledges the fact that they've seen it and they have approved it. It strictly makes sure that the treasurer, who is the one individual that's bonded and responsible for these funds, that their signature is the one that releases these funds.
I think for the most part, the bank's going to look at it that way anyway. I don't know that those other signatures matter. I guess it depends on how the signature card is, but I'm not sure that the bank's going to check to see there's 3 signatures on it anyway, to be very honest with you. So, okay.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Okay.
I would also add, I know there has been some concern voiced, and I don't mean to interlope into someone else's question. There is concern on smaller counties, third-class counties such as my own, where there's a single office holder where we just have one signature on the card. The contract between the bank and the county is signed by the commissioners, as by law. Only the commissioners can sign a contract for the county. So should something happen that I'm incapacitated, the commissioners are fully authorized to appoint someone to act in my stead while I'm gone that is able to go over and sign that signature card, and be it temporarily or until a new person is appointed by the governor to fill that office, able to sign it, so that there's no interruption of the flow of funds to be able to pay the bills and make payroll through the county. That authority still rests solely with the commissioners. They have control over that as by state law. But while I'm in office and while I'm bonded, I'm the one that's responsible for that money in the account.
And I think I get that. The only thing I'm thinking of is like, should they, if they just want to make sure the bill's paid, and I guess there are other ways they can do that, maybe, I don't know. Or is there any way for that to happen?
You know this better. I know in one of my counties, Senator, like he was saying, they have the bill packets that are approved every week. Those commissioners have to sign off that those bills are to be paid. And so if I'm not mistaken, I think. at least
Right,
one
but
of
I
my-
guess what I'm saying is they sign off on it, but what if it's not paid? That's the part I'm getting at, is they see it, but can they verify that it happened, or should they even be able to? I don't know.
And I think part of that is the auditor's responsibility. He also.
We don't all have auditors.
I would guess I would have to go back to a real-life application. If that bill fails to get paid, I'm going to assume that the person that's owed that money will let the county or that commissioner know fairly soon that they have not received their
That's a
funds
good
yet.
point. Point taken. Point well taken.
30 days past due.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions from the committee?
Mr. Chair,
yeah.
I would like to add also that, I'm sorry I omitted her, that Angie Schulte is also in attendance today. She represents the County Collectors and Treasurers Association, and she's here in support of the bill also, so.
Thank you.
We
And
feel that-
was here.
Was here, did she slip out? Okay,
Yeah,
all righty.
yeah,
We do
was.
feel that, I think there's a fairly low controversy bill. We're not really asking to change anybody's authority or anything else, just to clarify the responsibility as to who is responsible for the account.
As you two were discussing, I have one thing I want to ask. I primarily would think that you would be in charge of one account. That is accurate or not accurate? If I have 19 counties. If I went to the county treasurers, how many accounts would those treasurers have that they're in charge of now?
Well, first I would tell you that when I took office 20 years ago, I found out that I was naive enough to believe that there would be a system that every county followed in the state. And that if you're going to tell me you're going to go to 19 different counties, there's a good chance you might find out 19 different answers on that question. However, in the old days, yes, a lot of times we kept, because they did not want the commingling of funds, we carried 5 to 10 checking accounts. But now with the evolution of computers and software, in my county, we have one account that has 54 funds in that account. So we track those funds separately, but everything is held in one single account.
Are county treasurers ever in charge of, I'm going to use the word trust, foundation, somebody gives money to the county to do specific projects within that county, maybe take care of a park or something like that? Is that found in the treasurer's office, be one of these 54 funds, or is that separated?
There are a few exceptions where there are counties that take care of, say, cemetery funds where churches have closed up, but they've, by court order, have been handed over those funds to take care of those. It's not very common. It's fairly rare. And I don't have any of those funds in my county, so I would not want to speak to whether that's kept in that main account or if it's kept in a separate checking account. I couldn't give you that with full authority.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else testify in favor? Anyone testify in opposition? Anyone testify informational purposes only? Seeing none. Senator Carter, any closing comments?
No, I just appreciate your time and hearing the bill and appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, committee, let's get your list out. I thought maybe we might pick up one or two more, but I don't believe we're going to. Ready? I move we go into executive session. Do I have a second? I have a second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. We are in executive session. Okay, we're going to start with 599 if you need to look through your materials. I move that we do pass Senate Bill 599. Do I have a second? I have a second. Is there any discussion about Senate Bill 599? Senator Gregory from the 15th. Seeing none, Matt, would you please call the roll?
Senators Black,
Aye.
Henderson, Beck, Bratton, Berger, Crawford, Nicola, Nuremberg. 4-0 to 1.
By your vote of 4 ayes, 0 nays, and 1 present, we have do pass Senate Bill 599. Okay, folks, the next one on my list is 643. Okay, a little larger packet. I move to adopt Senate Committee Substitute for House Bill 643. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion about the Senate Committee Substitute? Do you want me to go through anything? I've got notes, plus I have Matt here to help go through that. There were items added, consultation with other senators. Some of the bills we've heard in here. Some of them have been in economic development. And I want to remind you there's House bills added as well as the House bill itself. I'll give you just a moment. We'll see if there's any questions. Okay, again, I've made the motion to adopt Senate Committee Substitute for House Bill 643, and I have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. The Senate Committee Substitute has been adopted. I move that we do pass Senate Committee Substitute for House Bill 643. Do I have a second? I have a second. Matt, would you please call the roll?
Senators Black,
Aye.
Henderson, Beck, Bratton, Berger, Crawford, Nicola, Nuremberg. 5-0.
By your vote of 5-0, you have do pass Senate Committee Substitute for House Bill 643. Okay, committee members, the next on my list, we're going to 816. This is House Bill 816, Representative Reedy. I move to bring up House Bill 816. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion? Had 2 major components, correct, in the bill? Okay. I move that we do pass House Bill 816. Do I have a second? I have a second. Matt, would you please call the roll?
Senators Black, Henderson, Beck, Bratton, Berger, Crawford, Nicola, Nuremberg.
By your vote of 5-0, you have do passed House Bill 816. Now, folks, the next on my list is 280. We do have a Senate Committee sub that has been distributed. If I remember right, this was Senator Carter's bill, correct? We were working with clerks, Department of Revenue. Okay, here we begin. I move to bring up Senate Bill 280. Do I have a second? I have a second. I move to adopt the Senate Committee substitute for Senate Bill 280. Do I have a second? I have a second. Anybody have any discussion? We know this has been a work in progress for a few weeks. Okay, all those in favor of adopting the Senate Committee substitute, please say aye. All opposed, same sign. We have adopted the substitute. I move that we do pass Senate Committee substitute for Senate Bill 280. Do I have a second? I do have a second. Matt, would you please call the roll?
Senators Black, Henderson, Beck, Bratton, Berger, Crawford, Nicola, Nuremberg.
By your vote of 4 ayes, 0 noes, and 1 present, you have do pass Senate Committee substitute for Senate Bill 280. I move that we leave executive session and return to open session. Do I have a second? I have a second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, same sign. We are out of executive session. Now I would entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved in a second. All those in favor say aye. We are adjourned.